Hey everyone, forgive me in advance. This is probably going to be a longer video because there's just so much to talk about. That's kind of the nature of videos at the beginning of the class. Anywho, so welcome back. You just finished, if you're caught up with the class, you just finished due date number 1, which was due Wednesday. Due date number 2, which is due tomorrow, Saturday, is coming up fast and furious. And again, most of the weeks for this class, you will only have one due date a week. It's usually Saturdays. Of course, you can turn in work early. However, there are a few weeks that have 2 with a Wednesday deadline. So if you looked at the course syllabus, it listed those dates, so you might want to project them in advance because you know the weeks that you have 2 deadlines will be busy. Anywho, okay, so let's talk about what's going on. I've graded all of the work for due date number 1. You now have grades and comments in the gradebook. Please go ahead and go check those out. I am human. Occasionally I miss things, or you put it somewhere, I thought it was somewhere else, that kind of stuff. So don't freak out. If something doesn't seem to be jiving, just contact me and we'll figure out what's going on. Okay, that being said though, I can tell there's some things that weren't going right. And again, this is all normal. So 1, there was the problem with images. People were having difficulties uploading and attaching images. There's an earlier announcement from this morning that will show you how to do that. 2, the option to attach documents was not happening in discussion board. That was my fault. There was a button buried. I have unburied it and turned it on, so you should be able to do that. I will say though, please don't attach documents for homework in the discussion board unless it's kind of required, unless it's something that's highly formatted or a draft of a paper or something like that. Otherwise, just the homework usually doesn't require that level of formatting. Just copy and paste it in. Okay, some of y'all didn't kind of realize what was required of you of due date 1. So this is the home page, and you'll notice there's these these little pages that say due date 1 with the date. If you click on that, it lists a bunch of stuff that's due. Folks, that's everything that's due. Now, some of you, I think, are conditioned from other classes, and this is normal. The way we all organize our classes is different. You come into the class and you immediately click on, over here on the left-hand menu, assignments. Guess what? That stuff doesn't show up there. Now there is a due date 1. However, earlier this week there was just the quiz, which I actually pulled out and just made it a survey because the points associated with it were not the points you actually earn for it. The point being, don't just click on assignments. You won't get everything. Work from home, work through the list. Now, so that's number 1. When you work through the list, so this is a list, most of the time it links out to where you have to go, except your individual discussion boards, which we'll talk about that in a second. But also there's stuff down here like comment on the course syllabus. You had to link out and do that. Or just take the student information survey. You had to link out and do that. Link out and do that. If you have questions that you don't understand how something works or where it is, email me, ask me, schedule an appointment and chat with me. Okay, discussion boards. So a lot of the work is due over here, and discussion boards, you should all have a discussion board that has your name. You have to find it, and you have to post your work in it. And so that's what you'll see that your classmates have started to do. And that's where a lot of the work is due. Okay, what else did I want to say? So starting here, I just want to remind you, look, a lot of announcements have gone up this week. Please make sure every time you log in that you check announcements. I also try to, when I get announcements via the campus email, I try to forward them, like this thing about tutoring services and scholarships and stuff like that. But there's also announcements from me. Sometimes they're written, sometimes they're video like this one, and they'll be posted here. So make sure you always check and read and actually, I think you have the ability to reply too. Okay, announcements. We talked about Project 1, we talked about discussions, we talked about assignments. Okay, so now I actually want to give you some tips about managing Google. So a bunch of you tried to access stuff and you couldn't do it, and you're like, I thought I was in the Google that I'm supposed to be in. Okay, so a lot of you have regular Gmail accounts. The school also gave you, or Maricopa Community College District gave you a Gmail account. Let's quickly talk about the ways you can tell the difference. When you are in a specific instance of Google, up in the left right hand corner, there should be some title or icon. So on this page, upper left hand corner, it says Maricopa Community Colleges. If you see that, you know you are in your Gmail associated with a college. If you're in a different Gmail that's just regular Google, up here, it's Google. Now, you do have the ability to forward this email to your regular Google. You can, but just realize that that means that you might not be logged into it when I'm asking you to be logged into it. Same thing with Google Drive. So right here, I'm in the Maricopa Drive. Again, upper left-hand corner, you can check it. On this one, I'm in my regular drive. Now, please notice I'm bouncing back and forth between multiple drives in the same browser. If you come over here to the right, you can log into multiple Google accounts in the same browser, and sometimes that helps with you figuring out what's going on. Okay, so one, you now know that there's multiple instances, and to make sure you're logged into the right one. Let's talk about the course. You all have been shared in this shared ENG 102 Spring 17 folder. Now, what you might want to do is log into your Google Drive. The easiest way to do that, if you don't know, is log into your Gmail, and then the little tic-tac-toe icon up here on the right, click on that. That allows you to bounce to the other applications and click Drive. That will take you here. Now, if you click on the menu over here on the left that says Shared with Me, what you should have is a folder. I don't have it because I started the folder, but what you should have is a folder that's shared English 102 Spring 17. And what you can do is when you pull that up, you can drag that folder. So now I'm going to do it with something else. So pretend, see this says English 102 prompts. I can drag it over here to the left and drop it in my drive, and that will make it easier for you to find. It will pop up in your drive all the time. So that's just about making it manageable. Now, I will be asking you to start documents associated with this class. It's really important that you actually start the document or move the document to this folder. So for example, if I'm out here in just my regular drive and I start a document, new document, I'm going to give it a title because I want you to be able to see it. Test. Okay, so I started this new test document. Okay, refresh. I want to be able to see the test document. Go, Google, go. There we go. Down here at the bottom, there's test. Now, because it's just in my drive, and notice that it doesn't have a little icon or anything next to it, or up here, it doesn't share, there's no... Basically, it means no one has access to that document. So if I sent you the URL, if I grabbed this up here and dropped it somewhere, you would not be able to see the document. Now, if you wanted everyone in the class to see the document, you need to move the document, not move all the documents, move it into our shared folder. Now, if I go to the shared folder, notice up here in the little breadcrumbs, there's a bunch of a little people icon. That's everybody in the class. They're shared in this. You all now can see the test document because it's in the shared folder. Now, if I had just started the document, so if I had just made sure I'm in the shared folder, I'm now going to start a new document. We're going to call this one, surprisingly enough, Test 2. Once it lets me. There we go. I have started Test 2. I'm refreshing. Ta-da! Because I was already in this folder before I started the new file, Test 2 auto-magically shows up in this folder. What that means is at some point in the near future, I'm going to ask you to come to Project 1 folder. That's within our shared folder. See breadcrumbs up here. And I'm going to ask you to start a new document Or what you might do is you might upload a document, but we'll talk about that later because then there's formatting issues. But hopefully you just had a crash course in Google and Google Drive and Gmail and the understanding between the different instances you might have, and also kind of the layering and sharing requirements that you'll need to use for this course. The last thing I want to talk about, I'm going to go back to due date 1 here, is how I grade homework. So you just understand my grading philosophy. So all of these homework activities, they're designed with two things in mind. One, they're designed that as long as you, quote unquote, sincerely engage with the activity, you should learn what it is I hope you learn. So that means that if I ask for a list of 3 things, or if I ask you to do a specific activity, or if I ask you to find 2 things and link to them and then, reflect on them in certain ways, I will look that, you did the 2 or 3 or reflect or whatever it is. But as long as you sincerely engage it, you can't do it wrong. So that's one premise. And so if you don't get full points for things, usually it's because I'm like, well, I can't see the image you were supposed to post. Or, oh, you were supposed to post both your schedule and a reflection of it. So where, one or the other was missing. Or you were supposed to post 3 things in this list and you only posted 2. That, for homework, sincere engagement is kind of the gauge in which I assign credit. Also, now I forgot what was my second thing with homework. Yay! I just forgot. This is fun. I should have written these notes down. Oh, story of my life, and it's Friday morning. Yay. Okay, so if I think of my second thing, I'll post it as a textual reply. Oh no, okay, yay. The brain is not as tired as it is. The second thing that most of these assignments are designed is that they're to scaffold towards the major projects. So sometimes students are like, I'm doing all this stuff and it's just busy work. I mean, yes, occasionally there's things that are busy work. Things like map your work schedule. That does not scaffold you towards the major project for Unit 1. However, it does scaffold you towards being successful in this class. However, especially past due date 1, so when we go back and look at due date 2 stuff, so let's quickly go look at that. Here we go. All these activities in due date 2, they are working you towards your first project. So you're thinking through topics, and you're further thinking about it and narrowing it, and you're doing basically research on yourself. All of this is work towards the project. So I know sometimes it might feel like, why am I doing all this? Well, it's designed that in doing that, you're actually producing content that you will... Well, you're either doing things that you need to do to move you towards it. So, for example, pick a topic, narrow a topic, or like activities 10 and 11 here, that's actually potentially producing content, words, ideas, concepts, sentences, if you're lucky, that you will use in your major project. So, don't completely dismiss it. It actually, usually if you pause and just think about and go like, what am I being asked for in the project? How do I think this might connect to it? Hopefully you can figure it out. 13 minutes is a long video. I'm going to stop babbling now. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me. And if you're really struggling, don't hesitate to email and say, hey, Shelly, I want to schedule time to talk synchronously. We can talk on the phone. We can talk in a web meeting. I don't mind doing that. That's my job. It's just what actually becomes the most difficult thing is us scheduling between our schedules. But again, don't wait if you have questions or if you're getting stuck. Reach out, chat with me. And I'm going to shut up now.